Hey y'all, and welcome back to yet another book review. This time, as always, I am fashionably late to the party, reviewing The Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. If you hear cats mewing in the background, that is the neighborhood cats, and I just fed them, and they're begging me for more food that I don't have. So it's a beautiful day, and I have the door open with the breeze coming in and stuff, so just kind of ignore that. Anywho, back to Children of Blood and Bone. This book had a lot of hype built up around it, and I was one of those people that were on the hype train because I'm a sucker for brown and black magical characters. So what is Children of Blood and Bone about? Children of Blood and Bone follows 16-year-old Zelly, who is of Magi descent. This is a bloodline that is directly descended from the gods, and these people are able to wield different types of magic. Unfortunately, one day, magic mysteriously vanishes throughout the land, and their tyrannical, prejudiced king takes that opportunity to kill and capture as many Magi people as possible, forcing them into a position of servitude in which they can't fight back from because their magic seems to be permanently gone, until one day a mysterious artifact washes up onto the land and is able to restore the power of the Magi when they come in contact with it. So from there, it comes to term that Zelly is the person who has to restore magic, if you will, to the land. This is definitely a hero's journey type of story, and I am so here for it. There is so much good in this book. There's also a little bit of bad, but I'm going to get into them one by one. First, I want to say that I feel like Zelly is a really compelling main character. I know a lot of people felt like she was very brash and bullheaded, and she made very stupid, rash decisions, but I like that she wasn't a passive character, especially coming off of my last book review, which was of The Bells, which had an extremely lame, passive character. At least Zelly did things. I mean, she was determined, she was headstrong, she had goals, she had a sense of morals, and she was determined to get shit done, and she did. Sometimes, not always in the right way, but she was determined to get things done, and that made her a very admirable character. I also found her really relatable because of her vulnerability regarding everything that she's gone through as an oppressed class. She's in a lot of pain, and there's a lot of internal struggle and emotional turmoil within Zelly that I think her stubbornness and kind of bullheadedness covers up this very vulnerable, sensitive, broken girl. Then following Zelly, her brother Zane would be probably my next favorite character. I just love how Zane is such a protective big brother, and he really wants to look out for Zelly's best interest. He reminds me of my own stepbrother, and I love their relationship. I do wish that I had gotten to know more of Zane and his personality, and hopefully in the next book we do get that. But I just loved Zane as a supporting character. He was the, strong, brave big brother and the muscle of the group, and that's an important element to have. And then you have Amari, who honestly, Amari was, to me, her chapters felt superfluous, but Amari as a character really showed Adeyemi's talent for character growth and development, because Amari grows and develops so much as a character over the course of the story. She was really annoying to me in the beginning, and I did not enjoy her chapters. And honestly, even after she started to grow, I didn't really enjoy her chapters. But as far as coming into her own and stepping up to the plate as a friend, and also her being the princess to this tyrannical king and going in direct opposition with him, it was really important and impressive to see her character growth the way it did. I also really loved the magical element of this book, as I have talked about in my Siempre Bruja review, which y'all should definitely go watch. There is so much magical and spiritual belief systems that have black and brown roots that I don't feel like get the kind of love and appreciation and exploration that they deserve in comparison to their Eurocentric counterparts like Wicca and the like. And it's really cool to see black people, for one, embracing brown and black spirituality, embracing magic, but also when they start exploring different realms, they have, you see a very diverse group of people everywhere. You have people who have very light skin, you have people who have freckles, people who have green eyes, brown eyes, straight hair, very, very kinky hair, dreads. So she plays around with the diversity of people who are of African descent. And I thought that was very well done. And it's not a big deal, but it is something that you notice. Also, I feel like Adeyemi really played with the idea of magic and how limitless it can be. I thought that was super cool because there's not just the elemental magic like earth, wind, water, and fire, but there's also the magic of metal bending. I actually loved the female friendships in this book. I love how Amari and Zelly's relationship develops over the course of the book. Understandably, when Zelly first meets Amari, she's having none of it. She's like, this chick is a part of the reason why we're oppressed. Her family, her daddy is the reason why I'm in the predicament I'm in. Fuck her. Fuck the crown. Da 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 da. Yeah, I am not going to ever get any sponsorships because my mouth is reckless. But anyway, yeah, F her, F the crown, F your friendship. But as the series progresses, their relationship really becomes a beautiful thing, and I love seeing that female intimacy between them. I honestly felt a little bit of chemistry, but I guess that ain't where she's trying to go with it, but that's kind of how I felt. But okay, it was cute and I loved it. And one that I found the most fascinating is there's a character who has the magic to cause sickness. I think that's a really interesting take on a magical power. So the magic in this story feels limitless in all the forms it can take, and that was really cool. I also love the diversity of the characters in this book. Not only do you have a diverse main cast of characters. So that's what I have for the positives. Now I want to get into the negatives of the book. And the first thing I want to talk about is the length of the book. I think the book is too long. I feel after a certain point, the plot just started to drag and it started to bog itself down. I think it would have been better had she ended it maybe at the end of that second act or maybe shortly into the third act and given us a nice bleak cliffhanger to end on, or a dramatic cliffhanger to end on, but it just dragged to the very end. While I grew to like Amari and her character growth, I just felt like her chapters were superfluous, and I think that's because her narrative voice wasn't that much different than Zelly's narrative voice. I mean, obviously they had different thoughts and sort of different motivations, but as far as the tone didn't really change from Zelly's chapters to Amari's chapters, and I feel like time that we should have either spent from Amari's point of view or Zelly's point of view or even Zane's point of view, we got it from Amari's, and I almost wish that Amari's chapters had been switched out with Zane. I wish that Zane had those chapters, or even they could have all had chapters. I just feel like Amari could have had less. I don't know. She was just really annoying. Her chapters were annoying to me. Speaking of annoying, let's talk about her big brother Inan, honey. Let's talk about him. Because Inan is probably the most disappointing character ever put to page in the history of 2018, honey. I was rooting for you, Inan. We were all rooting for you, but you did not deliver. You were supposed to be this book's Prince Zuko, but you're not even fit to even have your name uttered in the same sentence as Prince Zuko's, honey. You are not. Inan is probably the most indecisive, wishy-washy, flippity-floppity, 180 and dizzy character I have ever read. He was so frustrating every time. Like it's just like every time he came on. Okay, in the beginning, when Anon would come on the page, I found his conflict to be really interesting. All the points were there. All the points were there for him to be a good, interesting, conflicted, kind of dynamic character. However, he had such a hard time making up his mind, and his arc was not believable. With Zuko, it was sort of like Zuko battled with what was in his heart and what was in his head. And he tried to follow his heart too soon before he went down the route that he thought he would make him happy. He tried to go down the route that he almost considered kind of going down the route that he knew in his heart was correct. But he had been chasing this certain thing for so long that if he didn't see it through to the end, he would have never known if he would regret it or not. So him flip-flopping back and forth made sense because he wanted to see if going for this thing that had been his goal for years would give him that kind of satisfaction that he was hoping it would. And when it didn't, he went and he saw that for himself. And when it didn't, he was able to make a better decision. Inan just didn't know up from down. Third act of the book, his actions were so weak and so cowardly. And I'm like, you call yourself being in love with Zelly? I was like, Zelly deserves better than this. I don't give a crap what anybody thinks about Zelly as a character, whether you like her or not. She deserved better than that. And she deserves better than Inan. Inan is a piece of crap. From like that moment on sealed the deal for me that I could not with Inan. And it sucked because for a moment there, I was getting my life. When him and Zelly started having their little, tete-a-tetes and they little rendezvouses and stuff, I was getting my life low key. I'm not even gonna lie. It's like he was gearing up to be a very complex character, and the ball was just dropped. And I don't care what he does from this point on, he will not be able to redeem himself in my eyes. I officially lost all respect for Inan's character. I can't stand him. He was the second worst thing next to the romance that Tommy did in this book. And speaking of that weak ass romance, honey, like I said in my Belle's book review, can we leave these weak ass, trash ass, underdeveloped as romance plot lines in 2018? Can we leave them there? Can they just stay there? They don't need to follow us into this year because I'm tired of seeing it. The girls, YA, the teenagers and the grown-ass women that read YA deserve better. They deserve relationships that feel earned. They deserve relationships that feel like they took at least a molecule of fucking work for us to get them. Like, we deserve that. We deserve a little conflict, okay? Zayn and Amari are boring. They are boring. I can tell that they are Tomi Adeyemi's a fan favorite of hers. I can really tell that. But sis, that's not the move. That's not the move. They are boring. They are boring. It was insta love. It was insta attraction. Just because they think each other look cute and they have a couple of tender moments while she dresses all of his wounds that he take trying to protect them does not make them a good couple. Okay, Amari comes off gay as hell. That was a missed opportunity. Amari has more chemistry with Zelly. They have the best chemistry in the book, okay? The romance was rushed. It was forced. It was insta-lovey. It was all based on, I think you're cute. I think you're cute. Let's hook up. And I'm so tired of seeing that in YA fiction. I want genuine chemistry. I want people who share a sense of humor. I want people who share hobbies and interests. I want people who challenge each other about their belief systems or their interests. I want relationships that feel earned. I am tired of these weak lame romances. Romance is not that easy. It's not. An easy romance is boring. So please stop doing it.